your strategy.
Perfect. So look, guys, we'd love to carry on talking about this, but we're 2/3 of the way through the show already. I love when we just get into a flow and we have a conversation. You know, sometimes I sit here and I'm like, what are we going to talk? Like 2 minutes before we go live, how are we going to talk for an hour? And then literally it's like every time we just get into the zone and we start talking. And it may be a little bit shoddy or a bit amateurish at the beginning like it was today, but we always get there and you have faith in us. So thank you very much. Avars sums it up properly. Mr. Demi dropping dem gems. Dem gems, that's what we should call them.
No, you've just added the dem gems.
Yeah, because I thought it sounded good, mate. Dem gems.
Fair enough. So you're saying that what I ever wrote isn't enough for you?
I just like to put a little bit of my own. Stop doing to me what I always do to you. Wow, you're on it this week, mate. And that year wiser is catching you up on the IQ scale. So look, we're going to flip things around a little bit. So we're going to do the professional trade setup of the week. But what we're going to do first is we're actually going to look at the news and we're going to look at the major high impact news events. And then from the news events, we're going to pick a currency pair to look at. So there we go. Look at that, see? Thank you, Mick. We're on the same vibe. Today's Dem Gem. Love it. That's what I was trying to say. So let's get back to business. So we are going to get picture of Hunky Man up. Oops, not that one. That's tomorrow's show. Crypto Like a Pro tomorrow. In case you don't know that we do a crypto show and an FX show. So today is Pips Like a Pro. Tomorrow is Crypto Like a Pro. So with that being said, we have got Pips Like a Pro trade setup of the week with Dem Gem. And first of all, we're going to get the news up. So we're going to review the high impact news and see what's going on this week. And then from that, we would see what's going on in Andy's brain. And then we'll go and look at a currency pair based on the high impact news. So if that sounds good, take it away, Mr. Demi.
I will. Okay, let me just screen share. 1 second, guys. Okay, there we go. All right, let's have a little look. So, looks like a quiet start to the week. So hopefully you can see my screen. So, the most important focus really is the high impact, and also just because they're high impact doesn't necessarily mean they will be. But those are the ones that we want to kind of really care about. This covers everything that is scheduled. My preference is Forex Factory. You can use other ones, whatever your preference is. But this is my kind of go-to Forex Factory. So Monday, Tuesday is quiet. There's nothing really major happening. On Wednesday, we do have the Bank of Canada rate statement, which can have an impact. So depending on the kind of sentiment, that can have an impact on the CAD. So we'll kind of look and see that could move this week. And then we have quite a bit of data coming out from the euro and from the dollar. So we have the monetary policy statement. We also have the ECB press conference, which can have an impact on volatility. So these are happening sort of in the afternoon on Thursday, GMT. And CPI. So CPI is a big one. That's going to really have an impact on future interest rates. So basically the consumer price index measures inflation. And we have here, you can see the previous and then the forecast. So if you have a look here, the previous number was 0.8. The forecast is 0.4. So generally speaking, if you get a number that is, let's say, if you got a number above 0.8, that would be a big move in the dollar upwards. Normally, anything in between 0.4 and 0.8 we'll just kind of see a lukewarm move, probably up and down. So I wouldn't expect that there's going to be too much movement if it's between the two numbers, the previous number and the forecast. On the flip side, if the number is lower than 0.4, that will be seen as negative for the dollar, and the dollar will have most likely have a drop, a decline. And again, Friday seems to be fairly quiet. So the big days really are going to be Wednesday, Thursday. Not a lot going on this week, but certainly euro against the dollar could get some movement this week. So that one, in terms of volatility from what's scheduled here, we could get some decent moves. We've got Canada here as well. That could have an impact. But I'd say the ones to focus on is probably euro, euro pairs and dollar pairs would probably have the most volatility. So just a little note as well here, because you've got euro news and dollar news on the same sort of time period on Thursday. If you trade euro dollar, if you have kind of conflicting news, it can be quite messy. So you could get like up and down movements. So just kind of bear that in mind, that might happen. So once you've kind of, because even the press conference at the same time as the inflation figure. So you might want to avoid euro dollar trading it around the afternoon on Thursday, because it could be quite volatile up and down, and it's very easy to be stopped out. So with that kind of in mind, we can go and have a look at a currency pair. I'm still happy to have a look if anybody wants to request anything.
With that news there, with that information, is there anything that's jumping out to you if you were just trying to look for ideas to trade?
Well, as I said, I think the dollar pairs would be, that's kind of where I would start. So like looking at the majors, cable would be a good one, because we don't have any sterling news, but we do have dollar news. So I would probably start there. And then we could look at something like the Kiwi or Aussie against the dollar. And then you could also look at something like Euro Yen, Euro Aussie, those kind of pairs, so that you don't have two, like I said, we don't get two currencies that are, releasing news at the same time, and you don't get those kind of whipsaws. If you're kind of going for a longer term, it's not so bad. But if you're going for short term opportunities, you kind of want to avoid that. So
cool. So obviously we've only got time really to do one thoroughly like you normally do that, which is great. One question I do have for you, mate, which I know we've never asked before on the shows that we do. Have you tended, over your 18 years of trading as a professional trader, have you tended to trade any news events? And if so, which one was your favorite one to trade?
Yeah. So I used to trade GDP and retail sales for Australia. So I used to do that sort of 2 a.m, because commodity pairs tend to be, so things like the Aussie and Kiwi and CAD, they tend to be quite clean moves compared to the ones that we get over like sterling or euro. So I used to do that, yeah.
Cool.
And it was effective, but then it kind of messed my day up. I haven't done that for quite a while, but I used to just literally do a straddle, set it up before the news, one buy order, one sell order, and then just manage it. But obviously at 2 a.m, I'd then be fully awake having done that. And then I'd, be wanting to sleep and not be able to. Let me just bring in the screen. So I think we'll do cable. Should we do cable? Do you want to do something else?
No, let's do cable. That's a good shout.
Okay. All right, let's do cable. Cable's a popular one anyway. So I know we have done this one before, but let's see what we're doing at the moment. So let me get. I always like to start with a clean slate, especially for these type of things, so that we can just look at things objectively. So I'm just gonna see where the market is reacting, and we'll just kind of see if there's anything here of interest. See, like how you get these, you really can't spot them until these lines are in, right? But can you see how the market has these hidden reaction points? They're everywhere once you've done those lines, right? So we can also say this, and you could even use that as a kind of guide. So if we extend this out, it's worth putting these in on your chart, because if the market does end up going higher, we kind of know where it likes to react. And equally, if we break through here, we know where it likes to react. So let me add in my fibs going up.
So just while you're adding in those fibs, you say, these lines are everywhere and you don't know where these hidden lines are until you see them. How, like, you were the one that created these geometric angles. I know he's too modest to say it. He created geometric angles. No one else is doing this, and he started this. How do you just get to see these? Like, what was going through your mind when you were like, oh, I think I'm onto something here. Maybe I'm not. Was it like a trial and error, or was it just like a jolt of lightning or energy, and you were like, I get it. I see this now.
Yeah, I don't know, to be honest. I think it's just having spent so long on the markets, you just start to see things, spot patterns. I guess you go from like I guess you go from like, we spoke about phases, and you go from a newbie to a point where you might make money, and then you go to a different phase, which is like complete mastery, where you're now developing stuff, like you're thinking in a completely different way. And it just, if I'm honest with you, it just comes natural to me. Like I can just see things. Like and a lot of the time it's just chart time, and I stare at things and it just comes to me, like, and I spot things and then I test them because I'm passionate about improving. So yeah, yeah, that's all I can kind of tell you, really. It's it's somebody doing what they absolutely completely love to do and what they were meant to do for whatever reason. It's not like doing this is life-changing as a standalone thing, but maybe my job has been to impact others, to help others to be able to do this. I don't know.
Cool.
But yeah, so I've put in, this is quite good. I like this. We've got this this line here, which is reactive, and what I quite like here is that we've got this D right here, and basically, for those that don't know, this is basically where we would expect that the market would complete its Fibonacci structure. So hold on, lost my toolbar. Okay, there we go. 1 second, guys. Oh my word.
Yeah, so while Andy's getting that up, as he was saying, this is just where this is showing. So this indicator at the click of a button is something that Andy's brain has come up with, and he's designed this as well over the last few years. So this shows us where, because the market moves in waves, it doesn't never move in straight lines, right? Well, I think we all know that. This is showing us where the next wave could be ending. Is that correct, Andy?
Exactly. So what this indicator is telling me here is that we have the start of the wave here, and then this is the sort of the A point to the B point. This is the retracement, and then the market is predicting that the wave is going to complete here, right? Which is actually perfect because that matches really, really nicely with this line here. And remember, we are dealing with a weekly, so there is a good chance that we might get a failure somewhere here. So the market might come to here, and then this here, for me, represents a very nice shorting opportunity to, you know, and then this comes down to the strategy that you have and so on, how much you target. That bit is like down to your own strategy, but there's a high probability that we'll get some movement down, whether it's here or whether it goes lower. We can, you know, that bit doesn't really matter because we can make money by just knowing this fact here. There's a high chance of that happening. So that level so it's around 143.50 roughly as a zone. So let me have a quick look at yeah, and that Fibonacci is the same sort of thing as before. Like I just seeing things, and I just create rules and test them, and then just see what works best.
You are the Rain Man of trading, aren't you?
Rain Man. Right. Let me see. Let's see where. I'll just have a quick look at the levels here. Yeah.
So what's this one that you've just brought up?
So this is our auto resistance line and support lines, and it's basically identified this block here as a major resistance point, which is where we are. And what I like about this is that it's pretty much agreeing with the weekly. So the Fibonacci is roughly here, 143.38 here. The Fibonacci weekly is 143.50. For me, that's basically pretty much the same thing. So we're saying this is a good, really good zone to be looking to sell this right now. And if we were to break through this, guys, what I love is that, you know, with the way that we trade, that doesn't mean, you know, you might get a stop out if you place an order, but I mean, without going into too deep, what that tells me is a lot about the market. And then we just then switch, right? We become buyers. So we start looking at this big block as a buying block, and we will make more money than even if we did get stopped out and you lose 0.5% or 1%. Once you understand where you are, where the cycle is, it's too much to explain in this short amount of time. But essentially, once you understand it, you can make a lot more money on the upside at that point. So, you know, you're almost, if you do get stopped out, you're paying for information. So that's kind of the way you want to look at it. Let me quickly look at the 4-hour chart and see if there's some kind of setup there around the zone that we're looking at. So I will add in I'm just going to keep this simple, add in my fibs. I want to see where we are, if we're in the D zone or fade zone, or let's have a look. Okay, so we're not in the fade zone at the moment. We're not in the fade zone at the moment. I think, where is that? 143.80, 143.50, 143.38 is about there. Yeah, I mean, it could actually spike as far. So there's two things that I would look at here, guys. I would either look for this to complete its cycle up here, which is slightly higher, about 143.70, and then come down and close below. It's important that we close below 143.50. And then I would look to sell it for a move down. Alternatively, we might get this market. See, there's a bit of a support line there. We could get something like, I mean, something like that, where it goes back to this little zone here. And then we go here, and then we short it down. So right now, I wouldn't do anything. So I need it to either be back down to here, and then I'll look for this to bounce higher, or I need it to go up here, and then I'll either try and short some there, and then if it closes nicely, I'll short some more. So that's kind of like the general plan for cable. Nothing that I can do right now. I wouldn't place any orders. I'm going to put my alerts in for when we hit this level and this level, and I'll put an alert here, and then I'll put my notes in, and then I'll come back to it to see where the opportunity is. And really, generally speaking, this is what I do. I do this for across multiple currency pairs, and once it does what I need it to do, then I'm ready with all my notes to take the trade with the correct risk without ever having to think about it. So I've done the analysis once, and then I'll be absolutely ready to take a high probability trade. But right now, we don't have that, so I wouldn't do anything right now. I would just set it up.
Awesome. And that, guys, is how a professional trader's mind works. If you want to find out a bit more about how Andy's got to the stage, from when he was working at the hedge funds or on the trading floors for some of the big banks, we'll post the link below of a webinar that we recorded. It goes into so much detail. There's so much great value content in that. It's for free. You can watch it whenever you want. So we'll post the link in the Facebook group, the Crypto and FX Traders Club. We'll put the link below in the chat section. So that is it for another show, mate. Another Pips Like a Pro down in the books. Is there anything you want to say before we bounce?
No, I think I've done enough talking for the day, but thanks everybody for being here. We appreciate you.
We do. Thank you very much for your support, guys. And yeah, we'll be back same time, same place tomorrow for Crypto Like a Pro, talking all things cryptos. But if you're going to be trading FX this week, have a great one. Hope you make lots of pips, and we'll see you this time next week. See you later, guys.
Take care, guys.
Le genti passeranno